a culture is what happens when people come together. So it's what happens when people come together face to face. It's what happens when people come together virtually. And basically, people want to be part of a group, and that happens within a culture. They want to get their work done, and we find ways to do that with others. And then we want to be recognized for what we do. So those are three needs that we satisfy in culture, and that's what human beings do when they come together. And then culture is shaped by vision. It's shaped by habits. We do what we do because that's the way we've always done things. We're always changing and influencing culture by pursuing our needs. And then we adapt. We see what other companies are doing. We learn from them. We try to incorporate best practices. So culture is this dynamic process that's always occurring when people get together and they're doing their work, and it doesn't go away. I think it's important to remember that culture is always with us. It's not that you just do your work and set culture aside. You do your work within a culture, and then a culture develops when we're face to face, and a culture also develops virtually. So the kinds of things that you as a leader or a team member think about when you're working face to face, that is, what kind of relationships do people have? Are they on track with their work? Are they feeling that they're getting ahead? All those things that are going on for them when we're working face to face, they're going on virtually. And I think we can forget that because when you're sitting at your desk staring at your computer, you might feel a little bit disconnected from your coworkers, but you have to remember that there are still people and they still have those needs. I would say, bottom line, remember to be connected. It's especially now that people want to be connected, and culture has a lot to do with being connected. So I would say start there, make sure you have that foundation, and then build from there. I think today networking is even more important. It's more important in this crisis time. It's always important to make connections, to network. People who have strong, high quality networks do better. What does it mean to have a high quality network? It means forming relationships with people outside of your small circle. That's even more important now. Might take a little bit of an extra effort to connect with people virtually, but I would say keep at it. There's a tendency, I think, during a time like this to hunker down and pull in. I would say fight that, reach out, make connections. I've also found during this time that people want to be generous. They want to be helpful. So I think you might be surprised if you reach out to someone who you haven't spoken to in a while. And I've heard a number of people say they've been doing that. You might find that people are open and they want to be connected and they want to be helpful. I would also say, remember, people are stressed and they're uncertain. So I think you need to be compassionate. You need to be patient. So I wouldn't press so much. I wouldn't push extra hard for a sale. If a project's going a little slowly, maybe you need to back off a bit. So no one wants to feel during this time there's extra pressure coming from you. So I would say focus on being supportive, and remember that what goes around comes around. So if you're helping people during this really difficult time, that will probably come back to your benefits, and consider it an investment in your relationship network and then your results. One last piece of advice that I would give folks comes from something I read a couple of days ago by Stanley McChrystal, who wrote Team of Teams. He said it's at times like this that you really have to be compassionate. And so I would say go the extra mile, being compassionate, keep your priorities straight. People are sick, people have lost jobs, people are worried. Start there. In a few meetings that I've had the last few days, we've just spent some time sharing feelings, checking in. I would say do more of that than you might do during normal times, and then see if you can get past those feelings. And if you can, then do your work. But in the end, people come first.